Welcome to this episode of You Are Your Name. My name is Deacon Ariel. The information we're sharing with you is based upon the teachings of the Kabbalion philosophy, which was founded by Alfred J. Parker in the 1930s in Vancouver, BC, Canada. We're going to focus on one of the principles taught in the philosophy called the mathematical principle, which relates name and mind. We consider it significant because it impacts on every aspect of our lives. Why, you might ask? Because the names we use create our thinking patterns, which influence our entire life. So let's start there. The question to address in this episode is, why do our names create our thinking patterns? The Kabbalion philosophy teaches that our names can be converted to their equivalent mathematical formula. It is this name formula that tunes the mind to specific qualities of intelligence. Some names create a technical, detailed, and systematic intelligence, whereas other names create more inspirational or dramatic and expressive qualities. Some names create an intuitive ability to meet and mix with others easily, whereas other names may draw us away from others and seek the solitude of nature or the company of a good book. Some names create a restless, investigative, and changeable quality that is always looking for new experiences. All of these qualities of mind have their origin in the mathematical formula of the names that we use. This is easily tested from our website. You can add the names of your friends and family to see how their first names have influenced their thinking pattern. Of course, there are many other factors that shape the overall nature, but these brief summaries will demonstrate that there is a cause and effect relationship between name and mind. To understand this relationship, we really have to think about name and mind differently to see the connection between the two. We call this relationship the mathematical principle. First, we recognize that everything that exists does so for a reason. We may not know the reason at this particular moment, but we realize that you cannot have an effect without a cause. Science has made progress because it looks for the mathematical patterns that govern the physical plane. Kabbalion philosophy extends this approach to understanding the mathematical patterns that govern the mental plane. When we use mathematics to measure the physical plane, we measure quantity. Something is so long, or so fast, or weighs so much. But when we measure mind, we're measuring quality. A mind is independent, or it's sociable, or very expressive. Someone can be technical, others are investigative, and others are responsible. So really, we are a combination of many of these qualities based upon the mathematical formulas of the names that we accept and use. So first, let's consider the name itself. The name is our identity. If a stranger asks us, "Who are you?" we would answer with our name. The name is that part of the language we've associated to ourselves. So why is the name mathematical? When we teach a youngster the alphabet, they must learn it in the proper order. And it is this sequential order that associates a number from 1 to 9 to each of the letters. A is in the first position, so it's associated to the number 1. B is in the second position, and so on. We convert these letters of the name into their corresponding numbers to understand the name formula that's inherent in that name. All of the mental characteristics predicted on our website or in our free name reports are really descriptions of the specific name formulas that are inherent in our names. Our names and mind can be compared to a radio set. A radio does not create the individual radio broadcast. It simply tunes to a particular radio frequency and translates that radio wave back into the original broadcast to express it through the speaker. And in the same way, the name formula is the tuning mechanism that translates different abstract qualities of intelligence into individual thoughts, desires, urges, and mental impulses. When the name formula is not mathematically balanced, the thoughts and desires and urges will reflect some degree of discord or lack of balance. When people name their children without reference to this principle, the children get all the tensions, health issues, and unhappiness that represent the discord in their names. When we begin to use a balanced name, we will find that we change to be a more happy and healthy person with a more harmonious life. How does name create our thinking pattern? We think of mind as an individual mental energy field of intelligent qualities that uses our name as the tuning mechanism for these qualities. The names we use represent mathematical formulas that combine qualities of intelligence together to create our thinking pattern. For this episode, we're going to give you a brief summary of the name of Frank. Because this name has the same name formula as Kenneth, Eve, Lisa, and Shelley, this summary could be applied to those names as well.
The mental quality of Frank contains some very fine characteristics, but it also has some challenging aspects which are relative to happiness and health. In the thinking, Frank has the finer influences that show a very quick and intelligent mind, imaginative, versatile, and self-confident. It is a quality of independence, originality, and is very positive in opinion. It hates all limitations or interferences and despises monotony. It desires to act only as the spirit moves. The mind of Frank is very quick, analytical, imaginative, versatile, and self-confident. It is extremely determined and aggressive. This quality will find the greatest satisfaction in an occupation that allows one to work out of doors or where it can work with people and direct their efforts along creative lines. Frank is highly promotional and very capable of working in direct sales with this innate creativity. It would be a very effective sales organizer, providing, of course, the full name and signature support the endeavor. Frank does not shy away from large propositions. In fact, the bigger, the better. The challenge is that little fiddling details that cause his quality to become irritated bring intense moods and very direct speech, candid and sometimes caustic and sarcastic. Where there is action and Frank sees progress, this quality is happy. But as soon as it is obstructed and mired in irrelevant detail, there is a terrific nervous reaction which builds up nervous tension in the solar plexus and the stomach. If this is not relieved, the tension will create intense moods of depression. This quality is very self-opinionated and must be careful to avoid intolerance. The reason for this self-centeredness at times comes from an overassuredness in opinion and because it has a very critical and analytical mind. Frank is very self-confident, and that is an asset in life, so long as it is not carried to the point of intolerance and egoism. In communication, when this quality feels thwarted, the expression becomes very caustic and sarcastic. It tends to never forget injustices and can hold a grudge. This quality does not adapt well to too much system and detail. That would create nervous tension and moods, all of which would be taken out on those that are close to them. This quality can be caustic and sarcastic when crossed. They say what they think, but do not concede the other fellow the same privilege. Frank will become very indignant if their opinion or judgment is questioned. This quality must learn not to overrate self. In the communication, when they're happy and optimistic, then they can be very encouraging and promotional. In friendships, Frank has difficulty in relaxing and finding pleasure in sociability unless serving a purpose. When things are going well, Frank can be very outgoing, promotional, and friendly. When Frank finds things are not going well, he can be caustic, explosive, contemptuous, and sarcastic. Frank always wants their own way, but he can also be charitable to others in need and will always stick up for the underdog. This quality has a long memory, never forgetting a grudge. This works both ways. If their friend stands in for them, they will never forget and will stand with them forever. If they are thwarted or embarrassed, they will never forget and will want to even the score. In the health weaknesses, there is a difficulty in relaxation that affects the senses of the head and tension, causing stomach and solar plexus problems, ulcers, indigestion, and acid conditions. It could also be affected through the ears and the throat. As children, the little ones could be challenged with stuttering.
It should be noted that every Frank is unique and different, but each one is tuned to that specific pattern of thinking because of their name. Of course, surnames will alter or magnify the first name influence depending upon its name formula. In addition, their date of birth plays an important factor in their overall nature. We will discuss these influences in more detail in a future episode. We offer free name and birth date reports from our website that will allow you to test this principle on yourself. We encourage you to visit www.cabularians.com. That's KABALARIANS.com, or somewhat easier to remember, youareyourname.com, and it will forward you to the same site. Whenever you're ready, here are 3 ways we can help you. Number 1, the Balanced Name Recommendation Service. Join the thousands of others who have harmonized their names with their inner potential to improve their health, happiness, and success. Number 2, learn the principles of mental freedom. Participate in our online training program to gain the essential tools to create all the progressive changes you seek in your life. These proven truths will open up new perspectives and accelerate your attainment of health, happiness, and success. Number 3, let Kalex Solutions help you choose a balanced name for your business, because many business names are an impediment to one's overall business success.